why you attract fake people, and how to break the cycle. Have you ever stopped to think about how many people in your life genuinely root for your success? How many of your friends would still be there if you lost everything tomorrow? And why is it that the people who hurt you the most are always the ones you trusted the most? If you've ever felt betrayed, used, or simply discarded by someone you considered close, this video is going to give you the tools to make sure that never happens again. Because the problem isn't that you're bad at judging people. The problem is that no one ever taught you to recognize the red flags that all fake people leave behind. Contextualizing reality. Look, I'm over 35, and I can tell you one thing. Life has a pretty brutal way of teaching us about people. When you're in your 22nd, you still believe that everyone who smiles at you is genuine, that the person who hits you up every week truly cares about you. But the cold, hard truth is that a lot of people only get close when they need something, and they disappear when you're the one who needs them. Discernment isn't paranoia, it's emotional survival. The first sign, the absence test. The first thing you need to understand about fake friendships is that they're seasonal. They're like that plant that only blooms when the conditions are perfect. Pay attention. When you're going through a tough time, who disappears? When you lose that great job, or don't have that extra cash to go out every weekend, who stops calling you? Fake people have an impressive ability to become invisible right when you need support the most. They practice what I call conditional friendship, the emotional vampire in disguise. You know that person who only shows up when they have a problem? The one who turns every conversation into a rant about their own life, but when you try to talk about your problems, they change the subject or downplay what you're going through. That's not a friendship. It's emotional vampirism. Real friends create a balanced exchange. Sometimes you listen, sometimes you're listened to. When the scale always tips to one side, you don't have a friend. You have a disguised energy drain. The clandestine competition. Here's a sign a lot of people ignore. The fake friend always competes with you, even when there's no reason to. You get a promotion, and instead of genuine joy, you feel this weird energy coming from them. They can't celebrate your victories because, deep down, they're rooting against you. It's as if your happiness diminishes theirs. Genuine people understand that success isn't a zero-sum game. Your growth doesn't prevent theirs. When someone can't cheer you on during your moments of glory, they're not your friend. The strategic gossip. Pay attention to this. If a person talks smack about others to you, they're also talking smack about you to others. It's pure math. The fake friend uses gossip as a form of currency, a way to create artificial intimacy. They tell you other people's secrets so you feel special, chosen, part of the inner circle. But this is a trap. People with solid character don't need to tear down other people's reputations to connect with you. The selective interest. Watch when people show interest in your life. The fake friend only wants to know about you when you have something interesting going on. Got a new relationship? They're all curious. Having relationship problems? They disappear. Got a cool job? They want to know all about it. Got laid off? The phone stops ringing. It's like you're a television show they only watch when there are interesting episodes. Real friendship isn't entertainment, it's a constant presence, no matter what's happening in your life. The non-existent reciprocity. Here's the ultimate test. When was the last time this person did something for you without you asking? When was the last time they remembered your birthday, called just to check in on you, or offered help before you even needed it? Fake friendships are one-sided. You're always the one who calls, who invites, who remembers important dates. It's like pushing a boulder uphill. All the effort comes from you. Genuine reciprocity flows naturally, without being forced. The moment of truth. But here comes the question no one wants to ask. Why do you attract or accept these people in your life? Sometimes, our need for acceptance is so great that we'd rather have superficial relationships than be alone. Sometimes, our self-esteem is so low that we believe this is what we deserve. The truth is that identifying fake friendships is only half the job. The other half is understanding what it is about you that allows these people to enter and stay in your life. Because when you have inner clarity, you naturally attract people who vibrate at the same frequency of authenticity. The fundamental Jungian question. Now, I want you to stop for a moment and reflect honestly with me. Jung said that everything that annoys us about others is a projection of what we deny in ourselves. So, tell me, have you ever been fake with someone? Have you ever gotten close to a person because they could offer you something? Have you ever faked genuine interest when you were actually calculating the benefits? Comment below. When was the last time you realized you were being self-serving with someone? Because, look, recognizing our own shadow is the first step to not attracting people who live in theirs. When you accept that you also have the capacity to be fake, you develop a much more accurate radar for identifying that energy in others. The fear of loneliness versus the need for authenticity. Here's a truth that stings. We often keep fake friendships because we're terrified of being alone. We'd rather have 10 fake people around than face the silence of our own company. But tell me something. How many times have you felt more alone while surrounded by people than when you were literally by yourself? Answer in the comments. Can you go an entire week without seeking external validation? Without posting stories? Without texting anyone? Just cultivating your own company? Because a person who can't stand their own presence will accept any presence, even if it's toxic. Conscious solitude is different from abandonment. It's a meeting with your purest essence, the reflection of your self-worth. Jung also talked about synchronicity. There are no coincidences in the type of people who show up in our lives. If you're constantly attracting people who use you, who put you down, who compete with you, that's a mirror of your internal self-worth. The question that will set you free is this: what message are you sending to the universe about how you deserve to be treated? Share your experience. Have you noticed a pattern in the types of people who hurt you? Always the same kind of person? Because until you change internally, you'll continue to externally magnetize the same type of energy. It's not about them. It's about what you believe you deserve. The courage of confrontation. Here we get to the hardest part, the courage to confront. I'm not talking about a fight. I'm talking about radical honesty. When you realize someone is being fake with you, what's your reaction? Do you swallow it and keep pretending everything's fine? Do you gradually disappear, hoping they'll get the hint? Or do you have the emotional maturity to sit down, look them in the eye, and say, "Hey, I've been feeling like our friendship isn't reciprocal. Can we talk about it? Tell me here." Have you ever had the courage to confront a fake friend? What was it like? Because the person who can't defend their own boundaries will live surrounded by people who don't respect them. Transformation through pain. And you know why identifying fake friendships is so important? Because every betrayal, every disappointment, every person who uses and discards you is teaching you something about emotional discernment. Jung said we don't become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Every fake friend who passes through your life is a lesson in intuition, boundaries, and self-love. Share your story. What was the betrayal that taught you the most about yourself? Because when you stop playing the victim and start extracting wisdom from these experiences, you turn pain into power. You turn naivete into emotional intelligence. And then, my friend, you become practically immune to falseness. Not because you became distrustful, but because you became conscious. Look, we've reached the end of this conversation, and I want you to leave here with something very clear. Discernment isn't a gift. It's a skill you develop. The signs are always there. The test of absence in tough times, the energy vampirism, the clandestine competition, gossip as currency, selective interest, lack of reciprocity, and most importantly, the reflection of your own internal self-worth. The solution isn't to become a closed-off or distrustful person. The solution is to know yourself so deeply that you naturally repel people who don't vibrate at your frequency of authenticity. The light at the end of the tunnel. When you stop being afraid of loneliness and start cultivating a healthy relationship with yourself, something magical happens. You stop accepting emotional crumbs from people who don't value you. You develop this internal radar that immediately identifies when someone is being genuine or just putting on a performance. And most importantly, you attract people into your life who, like you, value real, deep, and reciprocal connections. Because like energy attracts like energy. Always remember, discernment is self-love in action. It's the ability to protect your emotional energy without closing yourself off to genuine love. As Carl Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves. Use every experience with fake friends as a mirror for your personal growth. Because when you become whole within yourself, you naturally magnetize whole people into your life. If this video made you reflect on your friendships, leave a like here, because that shows me this content is helping real people with real problems. And look, if you have a story about discernment in friendships, whether it's a situation you caught in time or a lesson you learned the hard way, share it in the comments. Write discernment and tell us your experience. This not only helps the YouTube algorithm get this video to more people who need it, but it also creates a supportive community where we all learn from each other. If you're realizing you need to work more on your self-awareness to stop attracting toxic people, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Every week, I bring you content on practical psychology, personal development, and emotional intelligence, always focused on how you can apply it to your real, day-to-day life.